Welcome to our Uni-Vibe series.
In this series, we're going to share with you Uni-Vibes from some of our favorite manufacturers.
And maybe we'll figure out, does the drive go before or after a vibe? On today's episode, we're going to look at the Riptide by Eventide. But before we get into that, I'd like to ask you to consider subscribing to the channel, clicking on the notification bell. Your interaction with us helps us interact with great people in the industry. In this case, we went back to Zzounds and we said, hey, for our Uni-Vibe series, we'd love to get in something from Eventide, and the Riptide was there. They were kind enough to send it along to us. It's a very robust pedal, as you would expect from Eventide. A lot of stuff under the hood.
Yeah, so I mean, here it is, nice and small. Real quick feature rundown. I mean, like super quick. You got an in, you got two outs, you have mono, stereo, guitar, and line level in case you want to use it with a keyboard or something like that. You have an expression pedal jack out, which we did use it later on with the EP1 from Mission Engineering. 5 onboard presets, and a little preset ladder over here, which is pretty cool. Who knows how many you can put in there if you get into MIDI.
It's always like 128.
Yeah, you probably get into a lot. So drive side, Uni-Vibe. Uni-Vibe has 3 knobs. Those 3 knobs are vibe, speed, and intensity. And at first I was like, what's the difference between vibe and intensity? Vibe is where you can choose between, like, does it sound like a Uni-Vibe or like the Uni-Vibe chorus or the Uni-Vibe vibrato, right? So that's instead of a switch, you have a knob and then all points in between. A speed for how fast it's going to go, and then an intensity for your intensity. And down here you have your drive when you have a tone, a drive tone, and level. What's really cool is, though, each one of these has 2 different, what would you call them, sounds or mods or whatever, right? So you have a vintage, this little LED here, when you press this, you'll see it later. It's a button. The LED is a button. It's pretty cool.
That is cool.
Vintage Uni-Vibe, push the button, modern phasey Uni-Vibe.
Right.
Over here, you have a,
mid-focused.
Yeah, I said Pat had to remember this. Mid-focused crunch.
Yes.
Push the button.
And you get a red, which is a boosted drive. Smooth. I think you use the word smooth.
Boom, boom. And then you also have a button up here that you can flip the order around so you can
answer the age-old question.
Right, which should come first. So if it is off, you have vibe into drive. Mm-hmm. I like to call that the correct way. And then if you push it, you turn it on, then you got drive into vibe. Right. So that's the vibe. Every time we do a vibe series, we start off with the same clip. I grab this American Strat, standard tuned. Probably should have did that differently all the way back when we started this series. Right. But standard tuned, standard Strat, American Strat. Middle pickup, and I play the same riff in every Uni-Vibe video, so someday we'll be able to kind of put them back to back and compare them a little bit. So here's that.
All right, so for my first clip, a lot of times I try to take these into vibrato land for whatever reason. I love chorus, but good vibrato. So I selected the more modern side, and then I turned it to 100% mix, which turns it into more of a vibrato feel. I had the DLS Echo Tour. I played the Yamaha Pacifica that we've recently shot a video about, and everything you hear tonight is through the timer.
Whenever we do a vibe video, we always take a minute to switch some knobs for you. So we're going to try and run through the features real quick on the Riptide, although there is a good many features to run through. We're going to do our best to do it quickly. The first knob, or the first button, you have two buttons. You have a drive side and you have a vibe side. Let's focus on the vibe side. And then if you look at the LED above, a cool feature of this pedal is you actually switch which side of the vibe you're on by pushing the LED. So right now we're on the green side, which is your more vintage Uni-Vibe. And then if I push the LED, it goes to the red side, which is more of a modern kind of phasey vibe. So why don't we just start, we have the intensity up a little bit and speed down, and let Pat play a little bit, and we'll flip back and forth between those so you can hear the difference. So you have three knobs for the vibe. You have a vibe knob, you have a speed knob, and an intensity knob. The vibe knob is an interesting way to do this. A lot of times on a Uni-Vibe pedal, you have a switch that goes from chorus to vibrato. And so what they've done is they put that in a knob. At 0, there's like kind of nothing. At 50%, you're really Uni-Vibe. And then if you keep going all the way up to 100%, then you're vibrato. So nothing, Uni-Vibe, all the way down, all the way up, vibrato, but there is in-betweens. So I don't think we need to really show the 0 side. It's at 50%. I think maybe just let you play and we'll jump to 100 so they can see the extremes and then they can, you know, imagine, if you would.
All right.
We had that intensity up pretty high, so hopefully you got an idea what was going on. Speaking of intensity, now maybe just run that super quick. If I turn that, I'm going to turn it all the way off, and then we'll go up. Took the opportunity to turn the speed knob while we're there.
Yes, that's right.
All right, so there's your Uni-Vibe. So you have two sides, kind of a vintage and a modern. You can go from your chorus to your vibrato, and then you have control, speed, and intensity. And if that wasn't enough, we go to the other side of the pedal, and we have a green and a red side on the drive. So do you remember what the green is?
It's a dynamic mid-range drive.
Okay, and then red would be?
Like a smooth, boosted overdrive.
So if I'm going to give you a little extra drive, bring the level down just a little bit, leave tone 50%. Just, we're not, obviously I didn't dial it in right there, right? So give us a break. But do you want me to go between green and red?
Yeah, you can.
All right. maybe a little farther than we had planned.
Right.
But tried to get like high gain with low volume, bring the volume up, get a high volume with low gain. Pat always loves when I dine the tone knob.
That's right. It's one of my favorites.
It's a favorite. Dine the tone up to 12. Just to give you an idea. So you got 2 different style drives.
Yep.
There's one more button. Well, there's other things to note. All right. So, and we're not going to get into presets. If you look over at the side, you have your preset ladder. You can store 5 presets there. There's a way to toggle between the 5 presets and recall them. It's a matter of what buttons you push and when. Pretty easy. It's in the manual. And you can also hook up MIDI to it, and then sky's the limit. You can also hook this up in stereo. You do need a TRS cable for stereo, it looks like, so you need it, and then tip is right and sleeve is left, or vice versa. Right, so you do need that. Although I wasn't really sure I understood that, because there's 2 outputs. They're both there's a switch underneath for mono.
Right.
So they're both mono. They both do the same thing, but then you switch to the stereo and it said use number 2 with the tip sleeve. So maybe you could do, maybe it's an either or. Like I could run stereo out of both, or I could use the tip.
Just come out of one.
Just come out of one. But we didn't try that tonight. There's a lot to get through here tonight. There's one other button on the face that's of note, and that's a little LED up here in the upper right. And when you kick that button in, it flips the order.
Right.
And we keep forgetting tonight, like what the order is.
I feel like off is
vibe into drive. Yes.
And red is drive into vibe.
Right. And we're actually, instead of doing that right now, both of our clips, we click that button. So just keep that in mind. Off is the vibe into drive, the correct way to do it. And then you hit it and it's drive into vibe. In the comments below. Feel free.
Yeah. Well, that's why we say in the beginning of our bumper, do you put it before or after? Well, this
right.
pedal kind of gives you an idea and you get to hear it.
You get to hear it both ways. And then, so now, I think that pretty much covers. So you didn't have them both on. We did that in the other clips.
It's coming.
It's coming. So the next 2 clips will have both drive and vibe on, and flipping between channels on the drive and flipping between the order and stuff. The next clip, though, pretty cool. I grabbed the Mission Engineering EP1. And so if you put this in heel position and dial in the pedal the way you want it to sound, and then put it in toe position and dial in the pedal the way you want it to sound, it remembers that, and then you can morph between heel and toe. And so the first couple times I do it, I just kind of slam it heel, slam it to the toe. But then you see me put it kind of in the middle, and you can hear that you're actually morphing between that. Really cool feature, easy to use, and you can save it to presets. The one thing I did find that it didn't do, or doesn't seem to do, is change channels. Like, I kind of wanted to have the green drive in the heel and then go up to the toe and have the red drive, and it doesn't. I think you're stuck with whatever drives you have on. That's the way it appears to me. So here's that clip. So when we talked about the features, the one feature we didn't show you was flipping between or moving the order of the pedal.
Right.
And so in this next clip, I think I started on the red, maybe. I think I started on the red drive, went to the green drive, then went back to the red drive and flipped the order. and then the green drive. So essentially I did both drives and flipped the order so you could hear like all the stuff that's happening. And I think at the very end, I kind of went back to the one I think I liked the most. So, and I did that with, sorry, got distracted there for a second. And I did that with the an American Deluxe Strat. This one is tuned down a half step. And it sounds like this.
So I wanted to explore that same idea, but we did it on a different guitar. We did it here on this Les Paul. We want to go humbucker world here. These thornbuckers in this Les Paul Classic. I think I had it on the neck the whole time. And I did the same thing. I switched between the two types of drives. I switched between the order back and forth. And this is what I did.
So that's the clips we have tonight and the knob turning and all that nonsense. But right now, how about a quick second of final thoughts? What are your thoughts?
I found
Crab the Pebble.
I do. I find it interesting, right? Because the whole Uni-Vibe thing is kind of new for me. If you've watched the channel at all, you know I like tremolo and I tend to like chorus. But I love some of the features in here, and I like that you can do a lot of exploration on this, like without changing pedals and changing your pedal order and unplugging things. We got to sit down tonight and be like, what does it really sound like with the order reverse as far as effects chain? So that was nice. It's Eventide. It's obviously loaded with features. We probably didn't do that quite justice, right? Because we talked about it, but as far as showing you that, this is like a tweaker's dream, if you will. You can just do whatever you want with it. I did like it. I think it had to explore a little bit more, and we switched a bunch of guitars and stuff, but I liked it a lot when the intensity was up a little higher, probably. I think it warmed it up, made things really throbby. Again, going back to my love of tremolo and chorus. It's a great pedal with a lot of features. It's not necessarily an introduction price point to explore this, but if you have different playing styles and you like to do different things, you can do the correct order, or you could do the other order. You could have a mid-focus drive, or you could have a smooth overdrive. All in here. Everything you heard tonight was this except for the delay. So it's a really flexible pedal. It gives you a lot of options. So
my thought on this would be like, maybe you said did a disservice. That preset, I think the thing that would make this pedal, like, why would you buy this over buying just a really good sounding Uni-Vibe? And it is the preset. So if you are somebody that likes, like, I could see Pat setting up the vibrato mode for that kind of sound. You always tend to go for the vibrato mode on one preset, maybe having a Uni-Vibe on other, maybe having a drive into it. And then you have, so with 5 presets, I think you could fill those up pretty fast and have 5 different, like totally different usable sounds. You could have clean vibrato, dirty vibrato, dirty. Is that a Michael Jackson song? You could have,
yes.
You can have so many different things in there that I think that, I mean, sometimes I feel like you get pedals that have presets on them and they don't make a lot of sense. Like, why would you need that many presets? Right. On this pedal with the drive and the Uni-Vibe in it, I feel like the presets would probably be really good. So maybe we should have spent more time on that. Maybe we'll come back to it. I thought the drive sounded good.
I was surprised.
Right, because they shouldn't, because it's digital, right? So, and the Uni-Vibe shouldn't sound good because it's digital either, right?
Right,
but digital's been. I think maybe we need to stop the conversation, the digital can't sound good conversation in a pedal. We're talking about modeling amps, but
that's a conversation we'll keep going.
that one maybe we'll keep going.
Put it in a pedal. We'll do it.
So, but if in a pedal like this, cool. So yeah, I'd love to know what you think on that. Like, as far as I actually saw somebody about a week ago posting one of the news groups. They were asking a question about different Uni-Vibes, and somebody said this one. Somebody was like, "That's not a Uni-Vibe." I'm like, "It's just because it's digital,
right?
Doesn't make it not a Uni-Vibe." So yeah, I mean, that's my thought. I think, like you said, kind of a tweaker's delay. Like, if you want to get a lot of different tones, a lot of different options, have places to store them. I love the expression pedal thing. I mean, you could do something as easy as set the heel of your expression pedal with the speed at very low and the toe at very high, and just use it to change the speed. It could be that simple, or it can be changing the drive on your overdrive. It could be very complicated. So cool stuff. Well done, Eventide. Thanks, Zzounds. Big thanks to Zzounds for sending it over. And so anytime you leave a comment, click notification bell, hit the like button. Anytime you interact with the channel, that's what helps us interact with cool companies like Zzounds and Eventide, and bring cool gear in to share with you. And with that,
I'm PJ on behalf of the Beard, reminding you, no matter what you hear, you never have too much gear.
Thank you.